Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching another episode of CPU, which is short for Chris Pirillo. You decide what the U is short for, because you are the only you I care about. Not that it matters, but today is a Friday, and I tend to wax nostalgic on Fridays for some weird reason. So I decided to do something retro today. I love the way things used to be. You know, the way things were before we had the internet. Believe it or not, I've been alive that long. I'm talking about the day and age when you didn't have anything wireless. Well, you did, but it kind of sucked. We didn't have websites. We had things called brochures, and they were printed on paper. And if we wanted to communicate with someone, dagnabbit, we picked up the telephone, which used to look a lot like this, only not like this. We didn't talk into our hands unless we were crazy. When I was in high school, for some odd reason, I was fascinated with calculators and data organizers. Not that I really ever enjoyed the maths, nor did I have much of a social calendar to keep organized back then. But back then, those were the most prevalent and affordable gadgets I could get my hands on. I still have this, the highlight of today's retro video, the Sharp Wizard 64KB. So that means this had the capacity to hold 64,000 bytes of information. Sharp, eh? Yeah, literally. There it is. I never got the data cable to connect this to a PC, which I wouldn't have had anyway, to better synchronize with the appropriate software. Still, I loved carrying this thing around in my pocket. Hello there, dear classmate. I think you're cute. Can I have your phone number? Oh, I can't? There it is. The Sharp Electronic Organizer. Sounds geeky. And it was. I wouldn't say this is bragging rights, but I'm pretty sure I was the only student at my school who had one of these. You want apps? I got apps. We've got a calendar, a schedule, a telephone book, you know, for storing numbers. You couldn't actually make calls with this thing. We also had a memo pad, a calculator, a card organizer, a world clock, and a home clock. I really wish I could get this to work again, but no matter what I do with the batteries, it's hosed. Still, I can't bring myself to get rid of it. The neat thing about this particular system is that it came with the capability of handling a variety of cards. And being someone who loved writing, I found this card indispensable. I could look up the definition or synonym for a word, or make sure that I spelled it correctly. Indeed, it was an intelligent IC card system. With this, I could set various alarms to make sure I didn't miss a single homework assignment. And I loved creating ASCII art with this thing too. Not that I had a name for what it was back then. And as a special bonus, I had every single letter in the alphabet and every number in the system. That's not really much of a bonus, but it made for a lot of keys on the board. And look at that. I even had search functionality as well. You know, just in case it was kind of difficult to find the two things that I had set up previously. I used it, but not as much as I might use computers today. And this was absolutely a computer. Of course, it pales by comparison to today's electronics, but still, it was the best I had. And back in the day, I probably dropped it a few times. It was quite durable. And believe it or not, this was svelte. It's kind of strange to think that something which would have cost hundreds of dollars these days could be replaced by a free app. But that's precisely how the tech industry works. And it's one of the reasons why I've continued to upgrade things throughout my life and will likely continue to upgrade things throughout my life. This, however, really wasn't upgradable. And despite its perceived limitations compared to today's tech standards, I couldn't imagine myself without this on me back then. I felt more connected to the world of technology, even though this device never really was connected to anything. Aw, come on, you can't tell me that I'm the only one who had one of these, or something like it. Unless you're telling me that I'm the only person alive who had one of these or something like it. I didn't really hold on to a lot of things that I might have used as a child, things that would be considered retro, but I'll continue to showcase them as this series moves on. So if you have any ideas for future retro products... Wait, future retro? That sounds weird. If you know of any products that would now be considered retro, or topics in general, be sure to let me know. Together, we can trip down memory lane, even if it's only 64 KB worth. Thanks again to all my patrons for helping make this video series possible, and at this point, I'm going to leave everybody to their own devices.